Near the village of Vishnupur, there was a beautiful forest where a small village was nestled. In this village lived a boy named Ragav. He was well known for his hard work and honesty. However, there was one habit that made him unhappy. He constantly compared himself to others. Every time he saw his friend Karan, who always topped the class, Ragav wished he were as smart as him. When he saw his wealthy neighbor Siddhar, he longed to have the same fortune. Even when he saw someone running fast, he thought, "I wish I could run that fast." These thoughts gradually led Ragav into disappointment. He lost focus on his studies, lost interest in his work, and felt that he could never be as successful as those he compared himself to. One day, a famous saint visited the village. He was known for his deep wisdom and ability to enlighten people about life's truths. Upon hearing about the saint, Ragav decided to seek him out and share his troubles. "Gurudev, I work very hard, but every time I see someone better than me, I feel sad. I think I can never achieve what they have. Please help me overcome this." Listening to Raghav's words, the saint smiled and said, "Tomorrow morning, come to the oldest tree in the village. There you will find the answer to your problem." Though confused, Ragav decided to follow the saint's words, believing there was a special reason behind them. The next morning, just as the sun rose, Ragav arrived at the ancient tree. The saint was already waiting for him. He pointed toward the forest and asked, "What do you see?" Ragav looked around and replied, "Gurudev, I see many different kinds of trees. Some are tall, some are short, some bear a lot of fruit, while others have none." The saint smiled and said, "If a mango tree compares itself to a coconut tree and complains about not being tall, is that reasonable? And if a coconut tree complains about not having sweet fruits like a mango tree, does that make sense?" Ragav thought for a moment and then answered, "No, that would be silly." The saint nodded and continued, "So how does this forest appear to you?" Ragav looked around and said, "Gurudev, the forest looks beautiful and balanced." The saint smiled and said, "That is the truth of life. Every tree has its own existence and purpose. The mango tree is meant to give sweet fruit, while the coconut tree grows tall and strong. They are not the same, but both are important." Ragav nodded, but he still seemed puzzled. Noticing this, the saint led him to a nearby pond where several fish were swimming. He pointed to a bird soaring in the sky and asked, "If a fish complains that it cannot fly like a bird, is that fair?" Ragav thought and then answered, "No, Gurudev. A fish is meant to swim in water, while a bird is meant to fly in the sky." The saint smiled. "Then why do you want to become someone else? Everyone's journey is different. You have unique qualities that others do not. Do not waste your life comparing yourself to others. Instead, focus on your strengths." Hearing this, Ragav suddenly felt enlightened. He realized that everyone has their own value, and comparisons only lead to misery. After listening to the saint's teachings, Ragav felt as if a burden had been lifted. He understood that each person has their own journey and value, and no two people are the same. Comparing oneself to others only brings disappointment and prevents growth. From that day on, Ragav decided to stop comparing himself to anyone. Instead of wishing to be someone else, he focused on his strengths and worked to improve his skills. He learned to accept himself and use what he had to grow. With this new mindset, Ragav regained his confidence and passion for his work. He no longer felt inferior or envious of others. Gradually, his life became more positive. Years later, with perseverance and hard work, Ragav built a successful career. He became an inspiration to the entire village. Whenever someone asked him for the secret to success, he would simply smile and say, "Focus on yourself. Never compare yourself to others." Over time, Raghav's persistence and effort led him to great success. He became one of the most respected figures in the village, admired by all. Not only did he achieve financial success, but he also found peace and meaning in his life. Whenever someone asked about his journey, Ragav would share the lesson he had learned from the saint years ago. If a fish tries to fly, it will always fail. But if it focuses on swimming, it can master the ocean. Each of us has our own strengths. Comparing ourselves to others only makes us lose faith in ourselves. He continued, "The sun and the moon do not shine at the same time, yet both have their own value. Success is not about being the best. It is about becoming the best version of yourself." Ragav's story became a source of inspiration for many in the village. Everyone realized that instead of comparing themselves to others, they should focus on developing their own strengths. Life became happier and more meaningful when they learned to appreciate themselves. Ragav's journey not only transformed his own life, but also helped many others discover their self-worth. Whenever someone felt insecure or disappointed due to comparisons, they would come to Ragav for advice. He would always smile and say, "If a fish tries to fly, it will always fail. But if it focuses on swimming, it can master the ocean. Likewise, if you keep wishing to be someone else, you will never find happiness. Focus on your strengths and develop them." Ragav also shared a profound philosophy. The sun and the moon do not shine at the same time, yet both have their own value. You too have your own light, only if you learn to appreciate it. From then on, many people in the village began to change their mindset. They stopped comparing themselves to others and focused on their own growth. As a result, not only did Ragav's life improve, but the entire village became a happier and more inspired place. From the moment Rav understood the truth of life, he never compared himself to others again. Instead, he focused on developing his strengths and worked hard to become the best version of himself. Because of this, he not only achieved success, but also found peace and happiness within. When the villagers saw the change in Ragav, they became curious and wanted to know the secret to his achievements. Every time someone asked about the path to success, Ragav would share the valuable lesson he had learned from the saint. If a fish tries to fly, it will always fail. But if it focuses on swimming, it can master the ocean. Don't waste time comparing yourself to others, because each person has their own journey. Focus on your strengths, develop them, and success will come. He continued, "The sun and the moon do not shine at the same time, yet both have their own value. You too, cherish what you have and shine in your own way." Ragav's story changed the mindset of many people in the village. They learned to accept themselves, stop comparing with others, and focus on their own development. As a result, their lives became happier and more meaningful than ever.